Thank you, Mr President. I move motion standing in my name.
Do we need a seconder for this?
Seconder? No, don't need a seconder.
Thank you, Mr President. Organ and tissue donation saves lives. Last year, the lives of 1,174 Australians were changed by receiving an organ transplant, thanks to the generosity of 421 deceased organ donors and their families. 1,174 Australians. They are fathers, mothers, grandparents, children, partners and friends. Mr President, I'd like to acknowledge every donor and thank their families who have said yes to donation. It is a decision no one ever wants to make, that we all hope we never have to make. The generosity of those families to make such a selfless decision at such an awful moment in their lives is remarkable. But there is something we can all do to make that moment a little bit easier, Mr President, for our loved ones should the need ever arise. We can talk about organ and tissue donation with them. If you would like to be a donor, you can tell your loved one. And if you want to be a donor, you can register. Donate Life Week 2022 was held earlier this year from the 24th of July to the 31st of July. The week plays an important role in encouraging more Australians to have those conversations with their loved ones and to register as an organ and tissue donor. This year, the Donate Life Week launch event for South Australia included the first annual walk for Donate Life South Australia through Adelaide's Elder Park. It was an absolute pleasure to join Heather Macris, donor recipient and organiser of the walk, and walk with her as we remembered those who gave the gift of life and said thank you to their families. It was also the start of the great registration race, which aims to encourage 100,000 more Aussies to register as organ and tissue donors. While South Australia has the highest registration rate in the country, with 73% of the population registered to be a donor, we must continue to drive that number higher. There are more than 1,700 Australians waiting for a life-saving organ transplant and thousands more whose lives could be transformed through organ and tissue donation. Mr President, it only takes 1 minute to sign up as an organ and tissue donor. You can register on the Donate Life website or with just 3 taps in your Express Plus Medicare app. After 2 years where our health system has been ravaged by COVID-19, it is important that we all do what we can to help increase donor rates. The National Donor Program was severely impacted by COVID-19. Donation and transplant activity across the country decreased as a result of the challenges facing our hospitals and logistical challenges that included COVID-19 restrictions, flight reductions and border closures. In 2020, there was a 12% decrease in the number of people receiving a transplant and a 16% decrease in the number of donors compared to 2019. In 2021, there was a 7% decrease in the number of people receiving an organ transplant and a 9% decrease in the number of deceased donors compared to 2020. South Australia was the only jurisdiction to exceed the national donors per million population target of 25 donors per million population, with a rate of 28.2 donors per million population. Mr President, I would like to acknowledge the work that Donate Life South Australia does to coordinate all organ and tissue donor activities across the state. Donate Life works with hospitals, healthcare specialists and donor families, raising awareness, providing education and offering care and support. Their tireless efforts ensure South Australia continues to be nation-leading in this space. I would also like to acknowledge the generosity of all Australians who donate or have registered to donate their organs and tissue. And importantly, I encourage everyone to talk about organ and tissue donation with your loved ones. Tell them if you want to be a donor, and please register as an organ and tissue donor. It only takes 1 minute. Thank you.
Honourable Mr Hunter.
Maybe now.
Seconded. Put the question. Those for question say aye. Against say no. The ayes have it. And the Honourable Chenafani, order of the day for
Next Wednesday of sitting.
seconded. Put the question. Those for question say aye. Against say no. The ayes